Might be the only time in the next month we can drive the car. These new tires don't want it on the road below freezing.
Pop another one.
And so I looked at the weather, and so I got outside this morning to get my stuff in my car, and I'm like, hey, it's pretty warm out here. I'm going to Ronco, a non-restaurant client for a couple years now, for a while, that things just need to change. Every business online is running the same type of marketing, and nobody's doing anything different. So my goal this year is to get a handful of companies locally, ideally a restaurant as well, that we can do what we do with us. Storytell, chronicle the behind the scenes, chronicle the journey of the business, do a podcast. I mean, businesses aren't doing podcasts, and there's stories to be told. We met with Rising Star Casino the other day. I mean, think about the podcast they could have on, number one, talking about the different bands that are coming in every month, to hear the story of how that band got its name, how they got their start. You guys have been singing for 30 years. That getting put out there in a podcast, that getting chopped up into 20, 30 pieces of micro content, consumers will eat it up. What's up?
Wendy's.
Wendy's nuts are in your mouth? If I look at a Ronco and I say, okay, I mean, we want to make the podcast to where it's more appealing to more people that are homeowners. Mm-hmm. Well, what does Matt and Christy have? We have a kid at Ryle, a kid at Eastern. You know, what does Tony got? He's got kids in these, what are your kids, in elementary school?
Yeah, St. Pius.
I'm that much older than you? Jeez.
No, I just started
late?
You got married when you were like
23.
12.
Yeah. I'm basically Mormon. No. Yeah, so we would break up and look at it and say, like, for example, Aaron's is pretty clear cut. He literally wants to recruit realtors and he wants to sell homes. Your guys is you want to make an impact on homeowners. And so, okay, who are homeowners? Let's look at it and say, you know what, we're going to do a, 1 week a month, we're going to do an episode on Northern Kentucky sports where we highlight a local coach, something different, and then, our athletes. Kind of like La Rosa's. La Rosa's probably the only company I've ever seen actually do this stuff right, and all they do is the sports part. And that's just because of Buddy La Rosa's tie. Mm-hmm. And then we would look at the other angle. Okay, well, we want to obviously cover stuff in the home business. I think it'd be cool with your guys' longevity of employees to each month a different employee. What are some of the funniest things you've seen in homes? What's been? You've been here 15 years. What are two of the craziest things you've seen? Oh my gosh, I went into an attic and this raccoon jumped on my face, and and then you have the other side of it could be out in the community of, part of the focus could be things that are happening in the community. Events, charities, other businesses, things that aren't about homes. Because all we're trying to do is relate to people that are, in that 35 to 65 range for the most part. The sports would be cool though, because it wouldn't be hard to look at it and say, okay, what are our top, like part of the looking at the podcast, what are the zip codes we need to influence? Lexington, Louisville, Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, how are we scope this out? And then that's where we look at it and go, okay, there's 52 weeks, 26 weeks focused on community and sports, 26 weeks focused on business and homes, and then it all just kind of ties together. And that's where you can look and see what's out there. I mean, especially when things are going to pop up, like when Ryle's women won the state championship 2 years ago. And I mean, every year you have somebody win something. You have a coach that's been around forever.
Right. Okay.
Oh.
Well, all right. So I guess we need to talk it over and all that stuff. And we'll get back with you on everything.
Do that brainstorm.
Yeah. No, I've liked what I've heard so far. So.
Yeah, I think that'll be the fun part when you really think about when you really start getting into. Right. You probably have some obvious ones early on, like who you want to do, but then as you think out 20, 30 weeks out, like, okay, really get fun with
Well, the cool part too, like this is what I found a big benefit with a lot of the people I interviewed. Majority of them have never had that type of content created for them. And so the minute even Dries, my dad coaches, I guess, who's Dries' president?
The local guys, Matt Graves.
Yeah, so I guess my dad coaches him. He does a lot of home builder stuff. And we were talking about this, and he's like, Matt, I researched Dries. Like, they have nothing out there. Mm-hmm. And that was when part of this, also, I don't know if I mentioned this, is when you do these podcasts and we chop all this up, part of it is giving that to the guest as well and saying, hey, you're on the podcast. Here's 50 pieces of content that shows them in a good light. That's what we're trying to do.
Right.
Because then all of a sudden now they're sharing it.
Yeah.
And so now that guest is like, oh, this is pretty damn cool. They're going to have videos on. They'll all have videos on their website now. That'll be the best, highest quality content they have that has them telling their story. And so it also kind of ingrains some deeper relationships from a standpoint of your business and helping out. That's part I like about the most is just the stories. And I know you guys with your employees will have some pretty cool ones. That was what Rising Star talked about. They've got apparently employees that are 25 years in, and customers that have been gambling there for 25 years. And so that's cool stuff to talk about.
It's funny because some of the employees have been there longer than the people we were meeting with.
Yeah.
And they say that the employees always talk about, this is my place, because they feel like it's theirs because they've been there for so long, and they're passionate about it. So that's kind of cool. Great story.
Been in
Makes
that place
sense.
in forever.
Yeah, a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Hasn't been a
So
reason.
this is kind of hard to get to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
First, I want to start this meeting by giving a huge who day because our Bengals are going to the fucking Super Bowl.
I'm a Bears fan.
Well, you have no idea how excited we are.
I thought everybody was gonna yell. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, well, I don't want to yell in everyone's ears. She said the F word.
It's huge. It's big for the city.
This is incredible for this city. But I'm pretty sure that you have won on us this weekend. It's you. Right? You have won on us because I believe the U.S. lost to Canada in soccer this weekend.
That's very true. Yeah.
So
That's a sport for communists.
Yeah.
American football is the real sport.
Yeah, it's
So-
fake football. It's fake football.
Do you know how much fun an FC game is actually? Like
Dude.
they're so much fun.
These
fans are nuts.
I sat next to the goal in what I thought were going to be, I guess, were VIP seats at a Columbus Crew game. So
You
the
sat
goal,
next to the Bailey.
the goal is right there, and I'm on the grass with 8 chairs. I've never been more terrified in my life than that ball came over our head. That ball came over our head, went into the VIP tent behind us, knocked over the entire grilling thing, set a tablecloth on fire. And that's when I realized how hard these professional guys could kick a ball like 50 yards. I thought we were dead. So yeah, it is pretty fun.
Soccer games are
Yeah, food was good too. To get you guys on the same page, I invited everybody to a Google seminar tomorrow morning, 8:30, called ABR, Practice What We Preach. It's come to my attention, myself, all of us, that we as a company and individuals do not practice attract, build, retain. As a quick little thing, I did a survey. 4 people that are in our key team have nothing to mention where they work on their Facebook. 4 people have a lot of it. 1 person has the wrong company name. And so I want to kind of talk through a couple things that we all could be doing, like Ryan likes as the poster boy. And I understand we all have personal lives and things like that, but I want to talk about some things tomorrow as a company to see how we can do a better job of attracting attention for the brands, and then how we can also do a better job of building relationships and momentum online, and then how we can retain and build more relationships. So we're going to start as a company. I kind of joked like Alvin Simon Theodore, ABR. You know, we're gonna start using that a lot more of what we preach to our clients, because I don't think we do a great job of it ourselves. And take it to the next level. Like one of the ideas that came up in the sales this morning, the sales meeting. We have a sales meeting every morning, and in our conversation on Friday, our coach from Grant Cardone brought up prospecting, and he brought up some things that we all were like, "Wow, that's a good idea." That we don't do enough is the fact that we're visiting hundreds of restaurants, and the majority of us aren't on their email lists, aren't following them on Facebook, aren't engaging in their social media, and these are things we could be doing to nurture those relationships. So we're looking for ideas on what we can do to attract more attention, build relationships, and retain them. So that's a big one.
And make comments.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Luis.
For me, when it comes to like following up with people and everything, everybody here knows, or pretty much everybody here knows, that I'm big on sending videos. I'll just randomly shoot a video and I'll send it over to people. But I also have people that I talk to pretty regularly, and I'll just call them just to see how they're doing and everything. And they always pick up because they know it's me, and they know that I'm not going to call them to ask them for money, but I'm just building that relationship, but I gotta get better with it. And yes, I don't exist on Instagram, like Matt said. It's just a personal thing that I have, but I have to change that. I've always been very private. I always pride myself on people not knowing where I live and things like that. And it just comes from, you know, I do have a paranoia. Austin knows that, you know.
You're on camera every fucking
No,
week.
I understand.
It's the little things.
No, I understand. I get what you're saying, but you know what I'm talking about.
He would wear his backpack during the videos if he could.
But that's the thing that I have to work on. You know, for me, it's a privacy thing. That's what it is, and I just have to work on it. So I will make a conscientious effort to just start kind of showing more stuff.
Like Tom Brokaw. Tom Brokaw wants privacy.
Right, mine was the orphan part. I know Darren's gonna start really working on that, but I feel like we have a lot of orphans out there, and as David and I have been working in high level, you can kind of see those. So mine was just the orphans, people that haven't been touched in a while. You're not taking any client from anyone. These are people that haven't been talked to and reached out to.
Mine was the orphans, just from the first prospect module with the script and just picking up and calling and talking. There's a lot of people sitting inside of high level right now from our prior funnels, and making sure that we're focusing on those folks. That was the biggest takeaway.
Mine was the take massive action. I guess the way I looked at it was just, I guess for me, I just need to start doing more every day. You know, if I done this amount today, I need to try to do this amount tomorrow. Beat it every day. And I just, you know, something I haven't been doing. I guess I haven't really been, I mean, I track it, but I haven't really paid a whole lot of attention to it. I just come in, do my thing, and that's that. But you know, after seeing that today, I need to do better.
Darren?
Yeah, for me, just some of the stuff that I agree with the orphan, and you know, we've talked about some of that stuff before. The thing for me that I picked up this morning when I was watching my stuff was that always smile. And that's something that I have to remind myself about constantly. And it's even when you're on the phone, because if you're smiling when you're on the phone, people can feel that coming through. It's something I used to train all my people when they were taking orders for drive-through too. If you have that smile on, it changes your attitude, it changes the tone, it puts you in the right spot. And you know, sometimes you'll be sitting here, and I'll see myself on here, and all of a sudden it's just like, right? And you got to be conscious of the fact to put yourself. So if you try that routine of, you know, always smile all day long, it's going to change your attitude. It's going to make things more positive and get more positive results.
And I can relate to what Luis is saying as far as the social too, because that's kind of been me. It's like how much do I really want to put out on social? But you know, over and again, just you know, following Billie Jean. It's like that's the way to get known. And it's like my daughter, you know, as I have kids, I've tried to make them cautious of what they put on social. So that they're not putting dumb stuff out there, because you know, colleges are going to be looking at their social and that kind of thing. My daughter, she was Googling me the other day. She's like, Mom, you're all over the internet. You know, the small town Floyd girl, your picture's all over that. I'm like, yeah, but that's how I'm getting known. And that's how people know me now. Is, you know, I went to a site to do some video one day, and the guy's like, hey, you're the small town Floyd girl, aren't you? You're on Instagram. I'm like, yes, I am. So it's getting known, and that's what it takes.
It's all about visibility.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with, and maybe this comes down to it comes down to training. It comes down to trust. It comes down to loyalty. I struggle with the fact that every employee of every company isn't online pounding their fucking chest about their team. How many people last night that worked for the Cincinnati Bengals do you think did not post on social media about going to the Super Bowl? Zero. I know them. I used to work with some of them. I saw it on LinkedIn. It's been every week they pound their chest. When the Bengals are 0-16, they pound their chest. They're a part of something they're proud of. And maybe that's part of the culture. I had a guy, Kevin Foley, who called me yesterday, 8:30 in the morning. Phone rings. I'm like, okay, it's a Sunday. It's 8:30. Oh, I know, like, this is a former client. He owns 2 restaurants, a Rapid Fire and a Hot Head. He's like, Matt, what's up, man? It's Kevin. Hey, did you get my text yesterday? I'm like, no. He's like, I got a question. I said, yeah. He goes, I need your help hiring people. I said, okay. He said, what would $500 do? I said, honestly, $5,000 would do nothing right now, Kevin. What do you mean? I said, it's too late. Anybody that wants to work is already working. You are the same as every restaurant that wants to hire people. And he's like, yeah, I know. I said, your problem started 6 months ago. If you want to fix it, start tomorrow and get you and your employees excited every day inside the restaurant and tell your story online. The minute you get people excited, the minute they're telling the story online, the minute you're telling the story, the minute you're doing lives and TikToks and Facebook videos and contests and having fun, then your employees start to go home and talk to their friends and their family and their siblings and like, hey, we had a great time today. We did the money bag. We did this. And that starts going viral. And then people actually want to come work here. Because to be quite honest with you, there's not a rapid fire or hothead out there that has a sexy profile online where somebody's like, I'm going to work there. Because they already work at a shitty restaurant. But that's the same thing here. And maybe maybe people here don't like working here. I don't know. Maybe I haven't done a good job of educating our own team, because I'll ask a quick question. How many of you here, just from an education standpoint, how many of you here watched the YouTube video last week about the Lambo and barley corns?
Yeah,
Luis.
part of it.
Part of it.
Yeah.
So not one person in here outside of Luis watched the entire thing. But you guys do online.
The Flat Tire?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that.
Okay,
The 26-minute video? Oh, yeah, now everybody watched it.
Because I remember the flat tire.
Okay.
I didn't even know barley corns was in it.
Yeah,
That's
that
how
means you
far I
didn't
know.
watch it.
So you didn't watch it.
We need to take pride in consuming our content. If you guys can't watch what I'm putting out, how can you sell what we're doing to our customers? How can you live, eat, sleep, live, and breathe this stuff? And that's one thing I guess I got to get better as leading, getting you guys excited to watch what we're putting out. Because we don't put out shit. And everything we put out, for the most part, has education in it. But we all need to love what we do. And if we don't love what we do, we don't take it home. And if we don't take it home, we're not excited to come in. Randy said, like, gas pedal, going more the next day. The fact that most people aren't here at 7 a.m. most mornings, to me, is kind of head scratching. The fact that most people aren't here till 7 p.m. most mornings at night is head scratching to me. For the simple fact that that's how I succeeded in radio. I out-hustled everybody. And I did it from 7 a.m. to fucking 10 o'clock at night. Everybody in here, outside of Ashley and Sierra and Max, makes money when other shit happens. When people buy stuff, you make more money. Everybody wants a raise, right? I mean, so the way to get a raise is to get excited about what you're doing online. It's to hustle more. It's to put more people in your funnel. The way to put more people in your funnel, if I want to get more coffee right now, Austin, what do? I walk over there and put more coffee. If you want to put more people in your funnel, you figure out 100 more restaurants in the city that need to know America's best restaurants. Then you figure out a tactic to talk to them more often. And the more often they talk, the more excited they get. They go, Randy, I really need to know more about this stuff. Boom, let's hop on a call with Doug, with Luis, with Matt. So the assignment I want you all to think about this week, and I'll put together a company-wide training. I'll do a training, we'll do a conversation, we'll have an open dialogue on it. How you can, one, build your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your Facebook to where, LinkedIn, yeah, it makes sense. It should be business. Your personal Facebook and personal Instagram doesn't need to be all business, but it doesn't hurt to have anything on there. And they have some stuff, so we'll talk about some of those things. We'll also talk about, this week, I think the big thing we all need to take to the next level is our nurturing, is our conversations. Everybody in here, Randy's scheduled appointments, you've scheduled appointments, you've scheduled and filmed appointments, you've scheduled and filmed or not filmed and hosted. Doug's done the same, Ryan's done the same. And I bet that majority of you guys haven't sent, outside of like Luis, any happy texts, anything. Get on, we ought to be following. Who in here follows every single restaurant that you've filmed at or you've scheduled?
That's where I get that email from JT's assignment for everything.
Yeah, so we ought to, including myself, which I got to get Sierra to help me on this, we ought to all be following everyone, and then we ought to create in high level a funnel of people that look identical to people we want to be around. And guess what? If there's 30 America's Best Restaurants people following every restaurant that we target through high level, and when they make a Facebook post, we click like or we comment. If we sign up for their emails and the email comes through and we respond, I got Better Blend's email the other day. I replied back, dude, your button doesn't work, because it wasn't working. And I do those little things as a tip, but also as that's why you shouldn't be doing this shit. You're a restaurant. There's a reason every other communication that comes out is wrong. It's not your expertise. But the more visible you stay, when an email comes across and you click on it and it doesn't work, reply back. Hey, by the way, this isn't working, thought you might want to know. Or when an email comes across that has something awesome, comment on it. When I had 3 emails this weekend from people that asked questions about different things, and I had a couple people that inquired through Messenger from a webinar I was involved with last week, or a training. When I looked at their information, I went to their website and I take screenshots. I sent this one guy had this burger, and I sent him a picture of that and said, by the way, I need this burger in my life, and I had a screenshot of the burger. So I'm showing it wasn't salesy, it was a little different. But I think we all need to think about it. ready to get dominated in ping pong again today? You're going down. I beat Tom, so if I beat Tom, I'm going to easily beat you. What's up? It's Matt. We're back with another expert roundup. We got my man Sean from Cali BBQ Media out in San Diego. We'll be back in 1 second.
It's not snowing, it's not cold, and it's not miserable.
Damn it. Well, it's cold here. We've got, I've got one of my employees, two of my employees supposed to fly to Miami tomorrow. Their flight just got canceled. I'm supposed to fly to Utah tomorrow. I hope that flight doesn't get canceled, but it's the complete opposite here in Kentucky in the Midwest. I'm gonna have to do some calls, and if you're in NKY, if you're in Florence, you're one of my peeps, let me know if there's any place around here open to eat. So I found some almonds. I found a Crunchy Nature Valley granola bar, which is pretty beat up. I found some maple syrup. Then I got Red Bull in the ping pong room. Your man is gonna be surviving on maple syrup, Red Bull, almonds, and crunchy granola bars. It's gotten a little spicy. Full force, baby. Popeyes was open at the truck stop. Chris, we found lunch. Snowed in 2022 Survivor. Is this how they do it on the island? Like when they do Survivor on the island? Like does going to Popeyes count?
Yeah.
There we go. I'm basically a reality star, and I am dominating the game. So that's all I got. Y'all stay safe. What's ironic is that my family business that we closed during the economic recession in 08, I ended up actually leaving a little before we closed it and helped wind it down because we thought we had it sold. We didn't know the economy was collapsing. This was the spring of 08. But I started back then Driven Media Solutions, which is what's evolved today into my digital marketing company. It was kind of funny. You started using digital marketing in 08 to promote your restaurant, and I struck out, and my first 3 clients when I struck out on my own were restaurants back in 08, 09, and 010. And I'll never forget one of them said, Matt, you know, I think you're absolutely crazy and insane that you think I need to be on this platform called Facebook, but I do like you. I do trust that you know a hell of a lot more than me, and I'm going to go on the ride with you. And then sure enough, I guess I was somewhat right.
Yeah, produce the show, what we do virtually. But we know that, you know, this is a time where content is king. You know, we're talking about Netflix, Amazon Prime, Apple, Entrepreneur TV. There's so many different places that you can share your story, but it all starts with your smartphone. Yep. You know, like you have to capture what you're already doing in real life. You know, and what I would challenge anybody that's listening is, I mean, the chances are you probably take photos of your family. You probably post those personally on Facebook. Instead of taking a photo wherever you go on family vacation, do a short video. Because I guarantee you, what changed for me was starting to understand that those short videos, those family videos, those can be business videos. Like the more that instead of taking a photo, you start to do a micro video, a 10-second video, a 15-second video, you'll start to see it's showing versus telling. Yep. An image is one thing, and they say image is everything. Well, video is a completely different perspective because now you're showing the whole story. Now you're bringing people in. And the more you bring people in, the more you inspire people to come to your restaurant.
I love it. I appreciate you coming on. We could talk all damn day. I know we have both got things to do. I appreciate your time, brother, and have fun out in the sun. I'm gonna get shoveling tomorrow.
You're the best. Thank you, Matt.
Hey, Sean. Awesome. What'd you think?
That's some good stuff.
Yeah, that guy's fire. Have you seen him at all on TikTok or anything? His stuff's fire. He gets it at a very high level from a standpoint of content creation, storytelling. It's all on a phone. Yeah. He doesn't have a U with a cool camera. It's all on a damn iPhone. And
It's a little crazy.
yeah, we just got, my flight got canceled tomorrow. 2 of my team members' flight got canceled. We're about to get a hit here tomorrow. A lot of what we do with restaurants, there's an education side that, I mean, that's what we do for a living. We work with hundreds of restaurants. We talk to tens of thousands of owners like yourself every year, and we get to look at a lot of stuff, and we see things from a different perspective. But I was looking at your website. By the way, I love it. It's colorful. It's exciting. It gets me wanting to do something.
Every time, it's great, but you don't know what you're getting, how you're getting it, any of that.
Well, you're going to love this then, because part of what we have tells you that. We have a dashboard that flat out shows you when you spend this much money, it gives you this much attention, it gets you this much customer data, it drives this many visits, and it costs you this much to acquire that. So that's one thing we have. So my next book I'm working on is based off of this statement. Outspend or Outsmart. Outsmart or Outspend, however you want to say it. The book's title is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of you have to outspend because you can't, or outsmart because you can't outspend. You can't outspend the big boys down the street, the franchise, some of the big brands, franchising like that. And what I'm finding though is restaurants are failing at outsmarting too. You've got to have a tool that actively is getting data on your website. You've got a couple forms on there, but there's a couple little things you can do to take that to a new level. And so when I say people aren't outsmarting anyone, it's based on those stats, is that they're not doing what it takes and what's available today. A good example, I walk into Panera Bread one time about a year ago, and the lady goes, "Hey, you don't want to give me your email, do you?" And I'm like, Jesus, no, not really. Whereas I walked into one of my clients, and they didn't know who I was, but I knew that they had our system, and I ordered a burger, and she goes, "That burger is delicious, isn't it?" I said, "Actually, it is pretty damn good." She said, "You want one for free next week?" Yeah, dumb question. Okay, do me a favor, scan this QR code. It's gonna take you into our VIP program in Messenger. It's gonna ask you 5 simple questions. You can opt out at any time. We won't spam you, and you're gonna get some really cool rewards, including that burger free next week.
All right, cool.
So what do you think?
Well, I like it. I'm still terrified. but I mean, I saw it work, and I know that it can work. You know, the numbers that you're talking about in 6 weeks, I don't know that we get enough people in there to collect that data in 6 weeks, but if that's, like you said, if that doesn't happen in 6 weeks and it takes 12 weeks.
Yep, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think it will. It's just, you know, we just don't get, it's a small town.
Oh yeah. You don't have the volume that some of these other places do, but we taken that into account, and like you've got more of a care and affection and touch inside your 4 walls than a lot of places. One of the negatives we deal with is that we have some operators that we deal with that there's just, it's more of a transactional environment. Walk in, it's more sterile, it's not as fun. I mean, I look at your website and I'm excited.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, thank you, ma'am.
All right, thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
All right.
What do you think?
That was a good one.
I mean,
Seems
that's
excited.
Yeah, I mean, that's the perfect place because, like, for a lot of restaurants, I could tell by her mannerisms, by the online, the Facebook, you can look and see her touch. Yeah. And that's the part to me that's tough with programs like this is we run across restaurants that you can see the opposite. Yeah. You can see that people are a transaction. Yeah. People aren't a transactional place. That's why putting this in place, she's not asking for information at all now. Yeah. They have down home, good conversations. Yeah. So the minute they put in place, you want to join Yums Club? I thought you did. Your next burger's free. Your next chocolate's free. We're giving away a cake every quarter. Oh, you're shitting me. No. Boom. Scan it. Boom. I mean, it'd be fire. They would probably get 9 out of 10 people, whereas a lot of people get 5 out of 10.
Yeah.